Hey guys, and welcome to this video. Today I'm going to be talking about 3 very exciting new releases from Dior, and I have the new Dior Backstage powder, the new foundation, Dior Forever Natural Nude, and I have the new setting spray. So I have been testing the foundation for the past 3 days, and I'm going to have a full review and a dedicated review for each of these 3 products. So the foundation, I've been testing it for the past 3 days, but the powder and the setting spray arrived yesterday. So yesterday I tried them for the very first time. In this video, I just want to share with you my initial thoughts on these 3 products because I know that a lot of you are interested. And then in approximately a week, I'm going to post a full review and a detailed review on each of these 3 products. Also, for those of you who have been interested, because I have been receiving messages from some of you to try the new Givenchy skincare foundation, I'm also going to have a full review on this foundation, but today we're talking about Dior. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I love sharing with you my honest opinion on luxury beauty products. If that sounds interesting, please make sure to subscribe and become part of our beauty community. I would love to have you here. If you're a regular, welcome back, dear friends. It took me some time. I had some problems with the delivery of these products, but finally they are here. So in case you don't want to watch the whole video, I'm going to have timestamps in the description box so that you can jump to the part of the video that you want to watch and see only the product that you're interested in. So I'm going to start with the foundation. I don't have anything on my face right now apart from moisturizer. I'm going to zoom in a minute so that you can see how my skin looks. For those of you who are new to my channel, a few words about my skin. I'm 35 years old and I have normal to combination skin. Right now my skin is completely normal. I don't have any issues in particular with my skin apart from the fact that it's a little bit sensitive. It easily gets irritated when I test new products. My skin doesn't agree with all products, so it is on the sensitive side. Not too sensitive, but still. I don't have any issues on my skin apart from the fact that occasional breakouts once a month, and I have a few dilated pores on the sides of my nose that are more visible if you get really close with a magnifying mirror. So no issues in particular. So I want to give you a quick close-up of my skin to see how it looks, and I currently have a very nasty breakout right here, which I hate. But anyways, we are going to see how the foundation is going to cover that. And yeah, let me get you closer. So now I only have some lip balm and I don't have anything else on my skin. My hair is back. Sorry that I have this terrible band here. I don't like it, but I just want you to be able to see really my face, and I don't want to have any hair around. Also, I'm wearing a white shirt so that it doesn't interfere with the colors. I feel like when I'm wearing white, it's better when I test foundations. So first off, let's read a little bit about this foundation. I have this foundation in one neutral and it matches really nice my skin tone. So Dior says that this is a long wear perfection with a nude sensation, fresh and lightweight like a lotion. The texture seamlessly absorbs upon application and lets the skin breathe from morning to night. For 24 hours non-stop, the complexion is perfectly even, luminous and natural looking with no cakey effect. Skin is radiant, appears plump and smoothed. So this is supposed to be a skin-caring foundation with 96% ingredients of natural origin with skin reviving complex. And Dior claimed that skin is moisturized for 24 hours, revitalized, and the quality is preserved. Now, I never tested foundation for 24 hours on my skin. Let's go ahead and apply this foundation. And I'm not new to this foundation, so it's a very glowy, luminous foundation. I'm also going to go over the ingredient list right after I applied foundation. So I have been using this foundation for the past 3 days, and I can say that it's a very pleasant, glowy foundation. It is like a lotion. However, it is quite glowy, so I'm gonna start here. Oops, let me get you closer. I'm gonna start here. And I'm using my Chantecaille Buff and Blur brush. You can use any brush that you like. This foundation blends very easy. Okay guys, so this is a pump and a half from this foundation. It feels very creamy and it reminds me a lot of the Dior Skin Nude foundation. For those of you who knew this foundation, this was the glowy foundation by Dior, so it reminds me a lot of this foundation. But I feel like this one is feels a little bit more lightweight on the skin. Now this is how my skin looks. As you can see, my skin looks very glowy, very perfected. It's not a full coverage foundation, so I would say that this foundation has light medium coverage. It doesn't have light coverage, it covers quite well. I can definitely see it after applying it on my skin. So it has light medium coverage, which can be built up to a medium coverage. It is buildable because I've tried it already and I can apply it very easily with my fingers or with a brush. I don't like applying foundations with beauty blender, so I'm not going to comment on that. I never like foundations applied with beauty blender, or I have very few foundations that I like when they are applied with beauty blenders. As you can see, my skin looks very moisturized, very hydrated. So far for the 3 days that I've been testing this foundation, I really like it. I absolutely love the coverage. However, right now I have completely normal skin. For some reason, my skin, probably it's because I'm 35 years old now, I don't know, but my skin is suddenly completely normal. Sometimes even a little bit dehydrated, which means that my skin lacks water. But if I were with my normal combination skin that usually gets oily, I was going to not like this foundation. I like it right now because my skin is completely normal. I think that this foundation is going to be good for almost all skin types, except if you're oily. If you're oily, you will find this foundation to be too glowy. You can see that my skin right now looks with a beautiful glow. It is a little bit, it has almost like a wet finish. I know that this sounds a little bit weird as explanation, but you can see my skin now when I haven't powdered. It looks almost like wet, like very, very well moisturized, which is a finish that I absolutely like. I love the fact that the foundation doesn't emphasize pores or fine lines. It looks absolutely beautiful. Now about the longevity, it's not even close to 24 hours, to be honest. Now I have probably, if you have more of a dry skin, it is going to be more long lasting, but I've been testing this foundation for more than 10 hours and it definitely wears off after the 6th hour. It starts wearing off on my skin, so it's not that long lasting, but I don't expect from a glowy foundation to be long lasting. I don't know why Dior are making this claim, probably because of the masks now. Probably they worked on the foundation and then the whole situation with the masks came. It's a beautiful foundation, but it's just, I don't see how this can be 24 hours of how such glowy foundation can have 24 hours. Probably on someone who has dry skin, it's going to be more long lasting. I love this foundation overall. It is really beautiful. You can see how gorgeous it is. You can see also that we can still see this breakout that's getting on my nerves. You can see that we can see it. And if I start building up, it's going to not look amazing. So it's not like a full coverage foundation, obviously, but it's a beautiful foundation. Moving on to the powder. I have the foundation in 1 neutral and it matches my skin tone perfectly. It looks beautiful. And I have the powder in 0 neutral and it matches my skin tone well. So you might want to go a shade lighter with this powder. I'm going to insert footage here in natural light so that you can see the powder. So we are going to be very careful with this powder today because yesterday I hated the powder. It was the first day when I was wearing the powder and I literally hated it because I usually am. So I saw it in the pan, I swatched it on my hand and I thought this is going to be the most beautiful powder of all times. But then I applied it on my skin and I hated it. So why I hated this powder? Now keep in mind that as a person who has normal to combination skin, I am like the powder queen. I'm definitely going to compare this powder to the new Dior cushion powder that was released. So in my dedicated review, I'm going to be comparing this powder to other powders. Now with powders, I feel like you have to really test it over time. Unless it's a very, very good powder, you can almost not fall in love with a powder after the first use. With powders, you have to find the right way to use powders. And I don't want to give you a review now, I just want to apply it, I just want to give you my initial thoughts. So as I'm giving you close-ups, I'm not sure that the camera is going to pick up the luminosity of this powder, but if there is some light hitting the powder, I can see a light luminosity. The powder feels very soft, super smooth to the touch, but it looks completely cakey when I applied on my face yesterday. So I'm going to show you now. So when I first got the powder yesterday, I swatched it on my hand, I fell in love with the powder. Then I decided that I'm going to apply this powder with a dry sponge. This is the usual way that usually gives me, when I apply powders with a dry sponge, just tap it on the back of my hand, not apply too much, and just push the powder into my skin. It always works for me. When I have this kind of powders, it always works for me and it gives me that really flawless, poreless effect. I tried doing this yesterday when the powder arrived and it looked horrible. It looked terrible. It was cakey. It looked chalky at first, like powdery, chalky. I don't even know how to explain it, but it just made me look like really, really bad. My skin looked really bad and with texture. And after the first hour, I could literally see every single pore on my face. Like, I couldn't imagine that my skin looks so terrible, so bad. So then I thought, I have to, it's a good thing that I tried it only on half of my face, and then I decided that on the other half of my face I was going to use a very gentle brush, and I'm just going to brush lightly the powder on my face, and it looked kind of okay. So once again, I'm going to have a dedicated review, but for today's video, let's try and apply this powder with this brush. I usually use this brush for emergency situations when I'm sure that the powder is not going to look good. So keep in mind that, once again, keep in mind that I am very demanding when it comes to complexion products, whether it's going to be powder, foundation. So I'm not an easy person. I'm not easily satisfied with makeup, with high-end makeup. I'm very demanding. Let me get you closer. So I didn't use concealer, guys, because I forgot to use concealer. We can maybe pop some concealer, but we are going to see. I don't think that I need it, even though the camera now emphasizes some darkness under my eyes. But anyways, let's powder this first. So I'm going to be very gentle and almost like tap very gently with this brush, because otherwise I'm going to get texture and it's not fair for the powder. But you know what? I just hate when I have to make a high-end product work. Like, the high-end products, they should work for us. We shouldn't make them work. This powder, for some reason, it doesn't want to work with my face, or it doesn't want to work with the foundation. I'm going to update you. I will have a full review of the powder. It reminds me a little bit of the Becca Light Shifter, but this one is a lot heavier. Well, the Becca Light Shifter basically is like you're applying nothing to your face. Now, I have a feeling that this powder is actually going to look absolutely gorgeous if used alone, without foundation, or only with a little bit of primer. I don't know really. I still have to test it, but this is definitely the kind of powder where I have to figure out a way to use it. I have to figure out the way to use it. So it's not the kind of powder that is just going to work for me. I have to work for it, which is, I never like to work for makeup. Makeup should work for me, especially when it's a high-end makeup. And I love the Dior Backstage line. I have all of the Dior Backstage Face Glow palettes. I have the foundation. Well, I don't have it now, but I've had it and it's one of my favorite foundations. And I was having high hopes about this powder, but I just want to get you closer now and shut my mouth so that you can see for yourself. Again, no concealer. Excuse the no concealer. I'm going to apply concealer now, but let's see the powder. Okay, guys, so now that you've seen all of my peach fuzz and everything, little hairs, little pores, I don't know what to tell you. Like, it's... Even now that I applied it very gently, as you can see, my skin still looks very luminous. So it's not mattified. It's not matte. My skin is not matte right now. So I am going to get oily with this powder. So I don't see the point, you know? I really don't see the point now. It is probably not for my skin type. Once again, I'm going to test it for a long time. I'm going to test it for a week. Try it with different foundations. Try it on its own without foundation, and I'm going to update you. I'm going to compare it to other powders that I have because, as I said, I'm the powder queen because I've been struggling with oily skin, especially in my 20s. Powder was the only makeup product that I was using. So I've been testing so many powders in my life, but this is definitely not from the best powders, or it's definitely not meant to be used for someone with normal to combination skin like me. I don't know. Now, seeing up close, from far away, probably it's going to be okay, but when I see myself in the mirror, it's not, this is just a Dior mirror, it's not a magnifying mirror. I don't even want to use a magnifying mirror. But from this Dior mirror, I can clearly see it looking cakey on my face, which never happens with powders. And it was the same yesterday when I used the sponge. It is the same today when I'm using really nice brushes. And I wonder what's going to happen now if I just use a beauty blender. It's a clean beauty blender. It doesn't have absolutely anything. I'm just going to tap a little to see if I can kind of make it... It's making it worse. It's making it worse. Okay, now moving on to the setting spray, and I'm quite new to setting sprays, guys. I don't usually use setting spray, so I will need your help here. I've only used so far the Caudalie Elixir Beauty Elixir as setting spray. Sometimes, rarely actually, and I've had the Guerlain setting spray. Apart from these two, I'm not big on setting sprays, so I cannot really compare this one to other setting sprays. Yesterday when I tried it, I kind of didn't like that. It was the mist, it's not that fine. I'm going to spray now so that you can see. Okay, so like it's a long mist, but I don't know, maybe it's normal. Maybe it's normal, but compared to the Guerlain setting spray, the Guerlain setting spray has a really the finest mist, and this one doesn't have a very fine mist. So I'm gonna go ahead and it has a fragrance, but it's not not a strong fragrance. Yesterday when I used the setting spray, it didn't change much about the foundation. Probably I didn't use enough. Let me know in the comments below, did I use enough here or should I use more? Maybe, and I'm gonna zoom again. So about the powder, I've noticed that when I use the powder with this brush right here, it looks more cakey than with this brush. This is the Dior Backstage blush brush, but I just figured that it's going to be good to just tap a little bit of the powder. And I used a very, very small amount of powder, almost nothing, and it looks better on this side, probably because I didn't use almost anything. So I want to zoom in. Okay, Okay guys, so now I just applied a little bit of lip gloss. I'm just going to have a makeup-free day, and I'm not going to use makeup on my eyes. I'm only going to be testing these products today, and as I said, I'm definitely going to film a full dedicated review on each of these products, but so far my final thoughts. The foundation is absolutely gorgeous. I like it, but I don't see a way that this is going to be a 24-hour long wear foundation because it's a glowy finish foundation. Yes, it does feel like a lotion. It applies beautifully with fingertips and with brushes. It applies beautifully and it doesn't emphasize pores or fine lines. It looks dewy. It definitely looks like a very well moisturized skin, and you might find it way too glowy if you have oily skin, because also it contains, immediately after looking at the ingredient list, I could see that it contains a good amount of glycerin, which is a moisturizer. It doesn't make my skin look oily. I've tested it without powder. It doesn't make my skin look oily, but I'm going to get into detail in my dedicated review. But so far I like the foundation. If you're oily, you're probably not going to like it. The powder, I still have to figure out how to use it and how to make it work for me. Definitely I don't like it used with this foundation. I know that for a lot of people it's going to be okay. However, a lot of people are going to like it. However, as I said, I am a complexion freak. I love when my makeup is completely invisible. And the one thing that I really am very strict about, and I just like when my complexion looks absolutely 100% flawless. And that's what I think that's what high-end makeup should do. That's why you're paying that extra money to make your foundation look absolutely flawless. So I'm not very impressed with the powder because I have to make it work, and I think that, and I have a feeling that with high-end makeup the product should work for you. So I'm definitely going to keep testing the powder, and I'm going to update you in a dedicated video. I'm going to compare it to other powders that I have. So far it doesn't work with this foundation, but I have a feeling that on its own or with a matte foundation, I have a feeling that it's going to look nice and it's going to work. But I'm going to update you. About the setting spray, let me know in the comments below, did I use enough setting spray? I'm not an expert on setting sprays. So far, from using it yesterday and today, I'm gonna say it. I think it's a waste of money. I don't like it. But I'm not big on setting sprays, of course. I'm going to test it extensively and I'm going to update you in another video. I'm definitely going to update you in another video. So watch for my video. I'm going to test it with other products. So far for this specific combination, for this Dior powder, it didn't really do anything. Okay guys, so that was all for today's video. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to give it a like and subscribe. I would love to have you here as part of my beauty community. Don't forget to leave me a comment as well if you've tried already any of these products. Let me know what you think. And as when I review each of these products, if you're watching this video at a later date, I'm going to have in the description box all of the videos and the dedicated reviews of this foundation, the powder and the setting spray. I'm going to have links to those videos in the description box, but this is going to be as soon as I post them on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. Take care. Bye. Hey guys, this is the last check, and it's been 7 hours after I first applied the foundation and the powder, and the only thing that I did was 2 hours after applying the foundation and the powder and the setting spray, I applied a little bit of blush on my cheeks, just because I needed to add some color to my face. But I've noticed that the more I wear the foundation and the powder starts to look so much better with time. And now 7 hours after applying first the powder with the foundation and everything, you can see I haven't touched my face at all, and you can see that I look quite oily. Like literally right now the lights are bouncing off my face, but I don't see the texture on my face anymore. So probably this Dior Backstage powder, it has some potential, and I definitely have to try it with different foundations and with other foundations. But right now I cannot see the texture on my face anymore. I just see that my face is quite oily. It looks almost like sweaty. but I can imagine that if you have dry skin, it's going to look so much better. So this is my last check. So I cannot see anymore the texture on my face here, but you can also see that I'm quite oily. So that was my last check, and yeah, thank you so much for watching.